We'll open it up for a statement from Coach Blair, then questions.
I don't have any answers for the defense on Mississippi State. I don't have any answers how the Cowboys are going to stop Russell Wilson either come next Monday night. But I do have the answer how we're going to beat Ole Miss. We're going to kick them because they're still celebrating back there, and we'll find a way to beat Ole Miss. Count on it. Mark it down. Okay, a couple bulletin points. It's been a pretty eventful summers. We got 4 starters back. 10 out of 11 of our top scorers are back. We've hosted 3 straight sub-regionals here. We've drawn very well. The game has changed this year. They're going back to the way they did it about 10 years ago. The top 16 teams in the country, not necessarily by poll, but by the committee, they will host the top 16. So generally that puts a short window on selling tickets in a hurry for that home site. Obviously you can tell if you're in the top 8 to 10 in the country, you're going to be hosting, and then it just depends on everything else. Another side note, we have put in a bid to host the NCAA tournament in Houston. We're working with the city of Houston. We've already presented our part. Dallas has done their part. They're working with the Big 12. And I believe there's 4 slots, and there's 7 cities, including New Orleans, Indianapolis, Nashville, Columbus, Ohio for some reason, and Pittsburgh. I think those are the ones that are competing for the 4 spots. This year it's in Tampa Bay. The following year it is in Indianapolis. Is that right?
Yes.
And then it's open after that. But, of course, we would love for it to be held in Houston. A&M and Steve Miller has headed that up from our committee, and they put in a great proposal, and hopefully they liked what they saw when we went down to the Toyota Center. My staff is intact again for the 3rd year in a row. The only thing that's different, we've added 2 kids off that national championship team. Sydney Colson is now our video coordinator. Nick Grant, who was there, went to San Diego State as an assistant coach. And Kristen Grant has been added into the extra position, which we've never had. So they've given us 1 more additional coach. She'll be helping with video stuff, helping with a little bit of everything, our reunion game, and 5 million other things. But it's good to have 2 kids that have come up through our program be part of our program again. We have a top 10 matchup. I'm thinking about all the sports here at A&M. I know football has a bunch of top 10 matchups coming in, but in women's basketball, we have Duke coming in on Thanksgiving Sunday. I know that's not a great time for the crowd since we played football on Thursday night. They're not just going to sit around waiting for our ball game because the students won't come back until probably Sunday night. But it is still a national TV game. Playing Duke, we return them the following year. If you remember 4 years ago, we beat Duke here by 18 points, and then we went to their place and lost by a close 3. So those are the type of teams we always want to bring you at least one top 10, top 15 team every year to be able to sell. Our schedule, we're all over the place. We've got the hardest non-conference schedule that I guess we had our very first year because we're playing every one of the top 10, the top 5 teams on the road. We're at Kentucky, we're at South Carolina, we're at Tennessee, we're at Georgia. And then I got my drama games at Mississippi State and at Arkansas, and LSU is a home and home. So every one of the top teams, we face them on the road. But that's just part of it. Our 2 games that we change a home and home with besides LSU will be Arkansas and Missouri. That helps us in one way because if you got to go on the road to play those others, you want to at least probably be the favorite in those ball games, but the road is the road. We've got a doubleheader with the men. We play, I think December the 13th, we play University of Houston. We play the afternoon game about 1:30, and I believe they play Youngstown State afterwards, and that'll be our only doubleheader that we have.
Let's open it up to questions over here. Gabe?
Coach, how much you like your leadership this year, especially with the core group of juniors you have, the two Courtneys and Jordan Jones?
Well, last year, Carla was sort of our quiet leader. She was sort of the mother hen. She just gathered everybody around, and with her pleasing personality, everybody just sort of flocked to her. But it was still Jordan Jones sort of emerging as that leader. This year, she has to be the leader. I mean, she's a junior now. We expect it out of her. She had a great preseason. She's been in the gym more than any other kid that's on our basketball team, working on our game, working on our shot. If you noticed in, I believe, the Street and Smith, she was voted first team All-American. And the two Courtneys were both second team All-American. Of course, that's preseason. That's one person's opinion. But us in Connecticut were the only two teams that had three members on the top three teams. But it's a credit to her, what she's done. She really came into her own at the end of the year. I mean, she was distributing the ball as well as anybody that we've ever had and still hitting the tough shots like she did against Connecticut to get us back into the ball game against Connecticut in the second half. So, Jordan, this is her team. I mean, we've got the complement of guards. I don't believe anybody in the SEC has the guards and the depth that we have at the guard position. The question is going to be, how good are we going to be at the post position? We're going to have a three-headed center right now, or Rachel Mitchell. Everybody's asked for every year, how good's Rachel going to be? And I always come up with the same line. Every morning she gets up, she's still 6'7". Well, 6'7" is not good enough now. She's got to be the complete player. And she's been doing it, but I've got to get consistency out of her. Kyla Hillsman, the 6'5" kid that we have a lot of expectations for her. She's going to be there, but I think she's going to have to work into her role a little and get a little bit more physical. She's got everything that it takes, the size and everything to be physical. It's just right now she's got to learn the SEC is just a different animal once it comes to being physical at the post play. And then at the 4 position, we have got to get more scoring out of our 2 junior college kids that are both seniors. If we cannot get the scoring there, we're going to move the guards, and we can play a 4-guard lineup, and Courtney Williams will be playing a lot of 4, along with Taylor Cooper, who set out last year, who can stretch the defense, the kid from Oral Roberts. So we're in good shape, but I've never had a set of guards ever as good as the combination of the 8 guards that we have on this basketball team. So let's just hope they can stay healthy. My junior college All-American, of course, right now has a stress fracture. She sees Bramall today. She's been out 3 weeks. We're hoping that she'll be ready in at least a couple of weeks to go. But she's a great kid, and she's Courtney Robertson's cousin. Okay, both from Arcadia, Louisiana. Yes, and that had a big factor in her coming here, even though we were loaded at the guard position. But Courtney and the family has been very pleased with what the men have done with Courtney and developed him on and off the court. And Shalante wants the same thing. She's going to be a great Aggie. Questions? Okay, now I said the development of the 5 position, that's number 1. More scoring out of the 4. I got 2 kids that play very hard, but they've got to score more against the best teams. developing a small ball package team where we put a Sherry at the 5 and go with a 4-guard lineup. That'll be your pressing type team. And then the continued development of the 2 CWs. I think those are all things that have to be answered. And where do we put in the junior college All-American? Where is she going to play? Who sits? And now, if you've kept up with some of the magazines that are out there, we're ranked 3rd in one, 4 in 2 preseason polls that were done in May, 5 in another one, 6 in another one, 7 in another one, and 9 in another one. But that doesn't mean a hill of beans. You got to live up to it. And I think our kids are at the point now that it's expected. We're trying to get our 10th straight year in the NCAA tournament. This is my 12th year here. 12's a magical number. I remember back when we were first starting, y'all didn't know who the hell I was, and we were doing the Blair Witch Project or whatever that was. That was in about year 2 or 3. Well, hopefully we're past Blair Witch, and we've got a pretty solid program. Yes, Gabe?
Do you think by January you hope Hillsman gets to the point where she can take over that starting spot? Or is it Rachel's in most situations?
I don't hope that happens. If that happens, that means Rachel has failed. Okay? I don't like that term of her walking in and a freshman taking it over where you've got a kid in her 4th year here. I want the kid to live up to her potential. Potential means you haven't done it. Okay, and that's where we were. We had a very stable force in Carla who had limitations, but we knew what we were going to get every ball game because she played behind Daniel Adams and Kelsey Bone for 3 years. So she got great practice habits and was able to relate those into the ball game. But Kyla's going to be a force in there.
In the back?
You're talking about your ranking. Where do you think you are? You got anywhere from 9 to 3. Where do you think you fall?
Well, I looked I picked up a USA Today, that big thing where they do the Dukes and the North Carolina men. We always get normally 1 page. We got 3 pages for women this time. And I looked at all the teams in front of us and all the teams behind us. Every one of them, besides South Carolina, lost more people than we did. Okay, so yeah, we've got some holes we got to fill, but every other one of the top women's teams in the country either graduated 2, 3, or 4 starters, and some big-time kids that are all playing in the WNBA. So we lost Carla, who's going to be playing overseas, and we lost Kristen Grant, who's going to be helping us with video. But I like our chances. We got 83% of our scoring back. I think 90-something of our rebounds back. I like our chances. I like that bullseye on us because I can bring it every day to my team to not sit there and just say, hey, we're number 4, we're number 5. Let's live up to what other people think about us. We've been very consistent over this last 9 years. We haven't had a down year. And how many times does that happen in any sport over 9 years? Three WNBA kids. Carter played for Indiana. Kelsey played for Connecticut. Danielle played for San Antonio. We've got 4 that are playing overseas. Adora's in Spain. Tyra White's in Czechoslovakia. And Carla's going to Taiwan. And that leaves the last one. Christy Bellick was in Luxembourg last year, and where she's going, she averaged 19 a game. So she's trying to get a little bit better country to pay her more and to have a little bit better competition. It's not knocking Luxembourg, but, I mean, it's Luxembourg. All right, any other questions? We've got basketball 101 for women. That'll be November the 5th. And we do take women sports writers to come out there as well. You want to come out and live through what we do, we'd love to have you, and I'll pay your meal. You come, go through what we do. We go through about 8 different stations. It doesn't mean you're going to get hot and sweaty and have to do any of that stuff, but it shows you the program. No men are allowed, okay? But that'll be basketball 1-on-1 for women November the 5th. And then we've got the thing tonight, the Brazos County A&M Club in our gym for the men and women. That'll be tonight at 6 o'clock.